I'm Marcus Thompson, and in 15 years leading rescue operations across East Africa, I've learned that some of nature's most dangerous encounters happen at the water's edge, where terrestrial and aquatic predators intersect. But there was one afternoon near the Grumeti River when we witnessed a situation that required immediate intervention to save one of Africa's most iconic animals from what could have been a fatal mistake. If you've ever seen someone in a dangerous situation that required quick thinking and coordinated action to resolve safely, you'll understand this story. Share in the comments about times when you've had to act fast to help someone in immediate danger. These moments test everything we know about emergency response. This happened 16 months ago during a routine water monitoring expedition along the Grumeti River corridor in the northern Serengeti. What started as wildlife observation became an emergency extraction that pushed every aspect of our rescue capabilities to the limit. This is case file number 156, and I'm sharing this story because sometimes protecting wildlife means understanding that natural behaviors can create unnatural situations, requiring immediate human intervention to prevent unnecessary tragedy. Subscribe if you want more stories about emergency wildlife rescues, the moments when split-second decisions and coordinated teamwork mean the difference between life and death for Africa's magnificent animals. The emergency developed during our afternoon survey of river crossing points used by migrating herds. Dr. Patricia Moelman, our ungulate behavior specialist, was documenting drinking patterns when she spotted what appeared to be a predation event in progress. Marcus, we have an urgent situation at the main watering point. A young giraffe has become trapped in the mud while drinking, and a large crocodile has engaged with her. This isn't normal predation, it's an opportunistic attack on a stuck animal. The complexity is that the giraffe appears to be a subadult female, possibly pregnant, and she's been struggling for at least 30 minutes without being able to free herself from the riverbank mud. Giraffe-crocodile conflicts are rare, but extremely dangerous when they occur. Giraffes typically avoid deep water approaches, but drought conditions sometimes force them to access water in ways that create vulnerability to aquatic predators. Dr. Moelman, what's the giraffe's current condition? Front legs are stuck in deep mud. Crocodile has engaged her lower leg area. She's exhausted from struggling but still conscious and fighting. Without intervention, this situation will not resolve favorably. I assembled our emergency response team immediately. Sarah, our veterinarian, would assess both animals' conditions, while Mike's specialized extraction equipment would be crucial for safely separating them and freeing the trapped giraffe. This operation requires perfect coordination and understanding of both giraffe physiology and crocodile behavior. I explained during our rapid deployment, we're intervening in a natural interaction, but one that's been created by unnatural circumstances. Sarah was reviewing giraffe stress responses and crocodile behavior patterns during our approach. Marcus, the key is creating separation without triggering more aggressive responses from either animal. Both species can be unpredictable under stress. Mike was preparing aquatic rescue equipment alongside terrestrial extraction tools. Boss, I've got flotation devices for safe water approach and winch systems for mud extraction. The challenge will be managing both simultaneously. When we reached the river site, the situation was exactly as described but more dire than we'd anticipated. A beautiful young giraffe was trapped chest-deep in thick riverbank mud, with a massive crocodile maintaining a grip on her rear leg. The giraffe's exhaustion was evident. Her struggles had decreased significantly, and her breathing showed signs of extreme stress. The crocodile appeared to be a large territorial male, probably over 4 meters long. Look at the positioning, Sarah observed. The crocodile isn't attempting a death roll or deeper water drag. He's maintaining position, possibly waiting for the giraffe to weaken further before escalating the attack. Dr. Moelman provided crucial behavioral context. This is opportunistic predation, not normal crocodile hunting behavior. The mud trap created vulnerability that wouldn't exist under normal circumstances. Our intervention plan required simultaneous approach from multiple angles: water-based separation of the crocodile, land-based extraction of the giraffe, and medical assessment of both animals' conditions throughout the process. The priority is ending the crocodile engagement first, I explained to the team. Once we have separation, we can focus on mud extraction without worrying about additional predator pressure. The crocodile separation required extraordinary precision. Mike's approach from the waterside used non-lethal deterrent techniques designed to encourage voluntary disengagement without provoking defensive aggression. Approaching the crocodile from downstream, Mike reported, using sound and movement, patterns that typically trigger territorial displacement rather than increased aggression. If you've ever been in a situation where you had to carefully manage dangerous animals while helping someone in distress, you know how much coordination and expertise these situations require. Let me know in the comments about your experiences with emergency situations involving wildlife. The crocodile's response to our intervention was exactly what we hoped for: territorial displacement, rather than increased aggression. The large male released the giraffe's leg and moved to deeper water, maintaining distance but watching our activities. Crocodile has disengaged successfully, Mike reported. He's moved to safe distance and showing normal territorial behavior rather than predatory focus. Phase 1 complete. With the immediate predator threat resolved, our attention shifted to the complex task of extracting a 200-kilogram giraffe from deep mud, without causing injury to her legs or joints during the process. Her front legs are stuck at least a meter deep, Sarah assessed after careful examination. We need systematic mud removal and gradual extraction to prevent joint damage or circulation problems. The extraction process required innovative engineering. Mike's winch systems, combined with strategic mud removal and careful positioning, allowed gradual liberation of the giraffe's trapped legs. Starting extraction sequence, Mike reported, using multiple anchor points to distribute pressure and prevent sudden movements that could cause injury during the pulling process. The giraffe's cooperation during extraction was remarkable. As we worked to free her legs, she remained calm and seemed to understand that our activities were intended to help rather than threaten her. She's actually adjusting her positioning to facilitate our work, Sarah observed. This level of cooperation suggests remarkable intelligence and trust. In our rescue efforts, the breakthrough came after 2 hours of careful work when the giraffe's first leg came free from the mud, with a loud sucking sound that indicated successful extraction from the deep clay deposits. First, leg free and showing good circulation, Sarah reported. No obvious injury, normal joint movement. Continuing with systematic extraction of the remaining trapped limb. The second leg extraction required additional mud removal and careful positioning, but the giraffe's renewed energy from partial freedom made the process more manageable for both the animal and our team. When both front legs were finally free, the giraffe's first attempts to stand were unsteady but determined. Her natural grace was returning as circulation and strength returned to her liberated limbs. Extraction complete, I announced, as the magnificent giraffe regained her footing on solid ground. Medical assessment shows no permanent injury, normal joint function, and typical post-stress recovery indicators. The giraffe's behavior after extraction was touching. She remained near our team for several minutes, almost like she was acknowledging our help before gradually moving away from the water toward safer feeding areas. Perfect resolution, Dr. Molman documented. Both animals have resumed normal behaviors. The giraffe has learned to avoid this particular water access point, and the crocodile has returned to typical territorial patterns. Follow-up monitoring over subsequent weeks showed complete recovery for the giraffe and normal behavior patterns for both species. The intervention had successfully resolved an unnatural situation without disrupting natural ecosystem dynamics. She's thriving, Dr. Molman reported months later. The giraffe has integrated well with local herds, showing no lasting effects from the extraction, and has successfully avoided similar risky water access situations. Case file 156. Taught me that effective wildlife rescue requires understanding. When natural interactions become unnatural situations that justify human intervention for conservation purposes. Now approach water edge emergencies with specialized protocols that account for both terrestrial and aquatic animal behaviors, ensuring our interventions benefit all species involved, or has developed assessment techniques that help determine when predator-prey interactions require intervention and when natural processes should proceed without human involvement. This case reinforced the importance of having equipment and expertise ready for complex rescue situations that involve multiple species and different environmental challenges simultaneously. But here's what really impressed me. Watching how both animals responded cooperatively to our intervention, almost like they understood we were working to restore balance rather than choose winners and losers. 6 months later, both the giraffe and crocodile were thriving in their respective ecological roles. Our intervention had prevented unnecessary tragedy while preserving the natural relationships that keep river ecosystems healthy. Case File 156. Influenced every subsequent water edge rescue we've conducted, including the multi-species protocols that proved crucial in other complex situations involving terrestrial and aquatic animals. This case also taught me that some of the most challenging rescues require expertise in multiple animal behaviors and environmental conditions, making team coordination absolutely essential for success. Subscribe if you want more stories about complex wildlife emergency responses. The moments when saving animals requires understanding multiple species behaviors and coordinating sophisticated rescue techniques. If you want me to share more stories about water edge rescues, especially cases where we had to manage both terrestrial and aquatic animals simultaneously, or the amazing examples of interspecies cooperation during emergency situations, let me know which complex rescue story you'd like to explore next. These stories prove that wildlife conservation requires not just courage and compassion, but deep technical expertise and the ability to coordinate complex operations under extreme pressure. Which complex rescue story should I share next? Your comments help me choose which cases will be most educational for understanding how sophisticated teamwork and multi-species knowledge combine to save lives in emergency conservation situations.